As the Rabbeinu Avram continues going through this first chelik of the 5 chalakim, which can be divided into 10 as far as Gashmis and Ruchnias, and the first one, the chelik Rishon, as far as removing oneself from damage, protecting oneself from damage, of course has to go in to the concept of Nisim. What about miracles? Where do they come in as far as Bitachon is concerned? Should one rely on a miracle? Should one not rely on a miracle? And so forth. Says the Rabbeinu Avram, then we know that by the stories of the snakes in the desert, in the Midbar, when the snakes were biting Klal Yisrael, and Klal Yisrael, many died, and the Torah says, they came to Moshe and they said, and what does HaKadosh Baruch Hu say? HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, build the Nechash HaNechoshes, and when they look at the Nechash HaNechoshes, they will be saved from the bite of the snake. Now, says the Rabbeinu Avram, what you see first of all that in their words they realized that the reason they were being bitten by the snake was exactly because they lost bitachon in Hashem. They lost putting their trust in Hashem. As they said, it's the reason that we moved away from relying on HaKadosh Baruch Hu that the snakes come. And Nachmeh, says the Rabbeinu Avram, that the response was not that Hashem said, fine, the snakes are not going to come. The snakes still came, and they even still bit some people. But when they looked at the Nechash HaNechoshes and they looked up to Hashem, as the Gemara tells us, that when they looked up to Hashem, they remembered and they internalized and they realized that everything comes from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Then HaKadosh Baruch Hu showed them that when you live on that level, even a natural thing of Derech HaTeva, like a bite of a snake, which should damage a person, won't damage him because he lives mi'al HaTeva, because a person has bitachon and it trusts in HaKadosh Baruch Hu and realizes and internalizes that trust, that everything that happens in this world is from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He's not beholden to Teva. So put away the fact that there was a miracle of being saved and not dying from that bite from the snake, says the Rabbeinu Avram. The point was that when they realized that again the idea of bitachon, and they internalized that the reason why they were bitten in the first place and why that bite caused them damage was because that's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted, that in and of itself was enough for them to remove themselves from that pain, from that damage. Says Rabbeinu Avram, it's not that they stopped biting them, they continued biting them, but it didn't cause them to die. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted them to know that of course He is the one that sent the snakes in the first place, because they were not focusing in on Bitachon HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's why HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Moshe, make yourself this Nechash HaNechoshes. Chas v'shalom to say, says the Rabbeinu Avram, that this Nechash HaNechoshes that Moshe made had some mystical powers that heal people. Faket, we see the Navi says the Malachim that Yechezkiyahu took it and smashed it to pieces because people were thinking that it had some mystical power to it. Adarabah, it had nothing, as the Gemara says that Chazal hoidoloi to Yechezkiyahu for breaking it because it didn't have any power. The only thing it had was showing Klal Yisrael that the snakes came because HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted them to come. And the reason they were hurt and damaged by it is because they didn't have bitachon. And as soon as they looked up and realized again that bitachon, then the nature itself, even though it continued being there, but it didn't damage them anymore. Adarabah, they went right back to the level of nisim that they were used to. Have a wonderful day.